The naval officer who shouted at Schettino to "Vada a bordo caso" became a bit of a
That's so
national hero
iconic, though. That's so iconic.
for night in Italy. He, like the rest of the world, expected Schettino to go down with the ship.
Yo. Let's watch the Concordia. I don't even know what this is about. I don't even know what Concordia is.
The Costa Concordia. Ship of dreams.
It's a ship.
It's been 8 years. I can still smell the buffets from their 5
so fancy.
restaurants. The casino.
Wait, give me 1 second. I'm a bit big. Okay, I do like to be big, but I'm a bit big. There you go. There you go.
And 3-story theater had hardly been used. The gym, the day spa, the sheets in her 1,500 luxurious cabins hadn't even been slept in.
Ooh.
Costa Concordia cost $570 million to build. And you could tell.
I'm gonna be honest, chat. Probably the most useless and damaging industry in this world is cruise shipping. It is by far responsible for the most pollution, and it's just so that all the rich people can go on and be like, "Wee, I'm on the water, but I'm also sleeping and drinking a shit ton of alcohol." If there's something in life I could do without, is cruise shipping, man.
Could really tell.
They're not even going anywhere. Yeah, they're just getting drunk, but on a ship. Look at it.
I remember it like it was just a few years ago. We had left Civitavecchia, a port in Rome, and we were making our way to Savona. It was day 2 of our 7-day journey. But that ship, she was cursed.
The goddamn bloody font, but piss font. You could have at least made it red.
When she premiered, the traditional bottle of champagne bounced right off the side instead of smashing. A bad omen. But I'm not the superstitious type. Nothing could go wrong on Friday the 13th of January, 2012, on the 100th
Wait, that's when the world ended.
Anniversary of the Titanic, on a ship that's also only safety rated for 2-compartment flooding. Especially not when you have a 5-star max level captain like Francisco Schettino.
What's gonna happen to it? I don't know the lore. Like, guys, no spoilers, no spoilers. I know it's from 2012, but no spoilers. Does it sink? When I ask, I don't ask for you to answer. I ask in the void so that I can find out.
He rose from head of security to the position of captain within just a couple of years. He knows exactly what to do in case of an emergency. For example, when he caused this emergency in 2008, when he crashed into a port in Sicily. And in 2010, in Warnemünde, Germany, when he was steering a different ship and came into port too fast and caused another collision.
That's crazy. Oh my god, it is. It's on land.
I've got a good feeling about this. So let's set the scene. It's a beautiful evening. People are having fun on the slides, drinks at the bar. Antonio Magnotta is playing piano at the restaurant. Martin the magician is setting up for his show.
Wow! Gotta love cruise ship magicians, my favorite gender.
Ship is setting up for a little detour. It's called a sail by salute. Basically, you get real close to the shore and honk the horn.
Hey!
The locals hate it, but the customers love it, and it's a tradition. Schettino.
It's like when you drive a BMW, basically. The same kind of devilish instinct that possesses you. Yo, Slevy dancing with a sub! Holy shit, thank you! Pog!
Captain comes into the dining hall with the lady, Dominica Cemortan. Remember this face.
She looks Romanian. It's crazy because some people just have the look. I know she's not Romanian. She could be. Wait. It could be Dominica Cemortan, or it could be Dominica Cemortan. That's not a common Romanian name by any means. Italy. Okay, that makes sense. She looks Romanian. It's hard to explain. Sometimes you just see someone and you're like, they're Romanian, even though most Romanians are white people. But sometimes you can tell. But I guess Italian makes sense.
You'll be seeing a lot of it later. Schettino eats his dinner with her and socializes for a little while. Then he, Dominica, and the maitre d' finish up and excuse themselves. They're heading to the bridge. It's time for that sail-by salute. This time, they're going to get closer than ever.
Oh no.
Just 1,500 feet from the island of Giglio. And how are they going to determine this distance? Well, of course, the captain is going to eyeball it. Apparently, it's not an uncommon thing to do.
Well, of course.
Schettino turns to the fella steering, his helmsman, Jacob Ruslibin. First interesting tidbit. Costa Crociere has hired Jacob from Indonesia at a rock-bottom price, and he's a bit of a newbie to the job. In fact, his profession hitherto, a painter and a cleaner. It's his first time steering a massive ship, and he's very excited. At least, we think he is. It's hard to tell because he doesn't speak English or Italian very well at all. Off to
That's always a good sign.
a good start. The second in command orders the helmsman to 290. Now, don't be confused by these numbers, they're just the degrees on a compass. At the same time, the captain whips out...
Alright, Pee-Pee, you're good. She's Moldovan. I am telling you, I can just tell. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes I see a person and I'm like, yes, this person is from my place. Holy shit, that's crazy that she's Moldovan. That's crazy.
His cell phone and calls former captain Mario Palombo, who lives on the island. They chat about the safe distance to Giglio's shores. It's all very casual. Anyway, Mario says that the safe distance is between 0.3 and 0.4 miles from shore. The captain is going all in. This is not his first sail-by salute, so he's confident in what he's doing. We're going closer than we've ever been before. The captain's eyeballing it again. New heading of 300.
It's not mild racism. I'm Romanian, man. I'm from there. Look. No, that's not what it is. It's Varu.
He tells the helmsman. Downstairs, Martin is about to cut his assistant in half.
Hell
and
yeah.
of course, that means that there's already a lady inside this box. She's waiting for the cue, and then she'll poke her legs out. The captain is giving more orders.
Oh no.
Pulling gently to 310. Increase speed to 16 knots. Going this fast is going to be a fatal error.
Oh man.
But before we talk about that, let's talk about another big problem. Language barrier. Because at this point, the captain says 325. But the helmsman relays 315.
Oh.
So the first officer intervenes and he goes, no, 335, which is also wrong. And then the captain clarifies, no, 325. The helmsman confirms 325. Their poor communication has them moving at a much wider angle than they think they are. However, the captain should and would know that.
Is a drive-by salute that important?
Yes, except for the next problem. Complacency about procedure. The standard procedure of a ship this large is for the third officer to give exact positional coordinates every time the captain gives a new directional order.
It's crazy because she also looks Romanian. And her name is more Romanian than the other lady.
The standard procedure of a ship this large is for the third officer to give exact position.
Silvia Coronica, like that actually sounds full on Romanian.
Coordinates every time the captain gives a new directional order. But they're not doing that. 330, he says. The helmsman relays 330. The ship reaches 16 knots. The captain then turns to the second officer and instructs him to go to the left wing. That's these things here, and they basically exist so you can get a better view over the whole vessel. A few seconds pass, and then the mood starts to turn. Schettino notices white foam of waves breaking against the rocks directly in front of him in the distance. The Costa Concordia, right now, is almost 700 meters closer to the rocks than it should be. Without deviation, there is going to be a direct collision.
Close it!
Oh, shit!
Schettino immediately commands the ship to start turning away. 335. Not enough. The captain shouts, 340. The captain yells, 350. Now,
Oof.
remember how I said that accelerating to 16 knots was a fatal error?
Oof.
Well, that's because it's made this ship incapable of such a drastic turn. What
Oof.
they've got is understeer. Here's an example.
The front end is not working. You're turning, and you're just going straight. You want to go over here, but you're going to end up over here.
So despite the order of 350, right now the bow is still only pointing at 327. Not nearly enough to miss the rock. And oh no, it's about to get worse. That language barrier again. In these critical moments where every second counts, the helmsman wrongly relays 340.
No!
The captain snaps back, 350 starboard or we end up on the rocks. The third officer goes to assist the helmsman. Now, don't get confused by the orders from here. We're changing over to rudder instructions. The captain yells, starboard 10, starboard 20, and still it's not enough. Hard to starboard. That means as hard as it'll go. But at this point, even if they clear these rocks, they need to get the rest of the ship to swing around it. So the captain yells, midship,
Yeah.
which centers the rudder. The bow is now less than 150 meters from Skull Rock.
Oof.
Port 10. But the helmsman only gets to port 5 before another order is given 2 seconds later. Port 20. They might just avoid disaster here, maybe. But then, oh no. One more time, the helmsman cocks up at the worst possible moment. The helmsman goes to starboard instead of port,
Bro!
undoing the swing.
That's
8
crazy.
seconds later, he realizes the error and
Oh,
corrects,
man.
but it's too late. He has just turned a probable near miss into a sure hit. All they can do now is hold on as the bow of the ship narrowly passes by the rocks. Hard to port! The second officer yells, we're gonna hit! Collision.
Oof. At least they're close to shore. I like the ones that are Sims. Wow, the budget is beautiful.
A 53-meter gash opens up in the hull, and thousands of tons of water begin pouring in. A loud scraping and bang is heard by all passengers. At the helm is panic. Rumblings in the dining room. Martin awkwardly pauses his act as he's helping his assistant into the box. Meanwhile, the lady inside is trapped and terrified.
Oh,
There's
man.
confusion across the ship. All of the crew off
Imagine
ship
you're the
come back
lady
on
inside the
duty.
box.
All officers run to the bridge. Technical crews run down to the lower decks to assess damage. On connection with the rocks, they lose propulsion and slow to 8.3 knots. And they are now adrift. Close the watertight doors at stern. Enormous volumes of water are pouring in. So much so that within 29 seconds of collision, all 6 engines stop working through flooding.
Oof.
22 seconds later, a blackout happens. Lights, electrics, the water pumps too. Everything.
Oof.
The captain orders the helmsman hard starboard. This is the final position of the rudder before power to that too is lost. The Costa Concordia, now without power, is drifting starboard, plunged into absolute darkness.
I mean, yeah, at least they're close to,
A quick breakdown of the flooding.
at least they're close
When
to
the Concordia struck land, it tore open 3 watertight compartments. At first, compartment 5, which filled very rapidly. Then 6 more slowly, 4 shortly after.
That's crazy
Then
that it got hit exactly where the engines are.
7, 8, and 3. Modern ships are built to withstand 2 compartment breaches. These compartments especially, though, are a problem because they contain the engines and the electrics. These main generators give power to the whole ship. From propulsion motors to rudder to hotel functions, pretty much
That's
everything.
so unlucky.
When they went out, the ship was a functionless, sinking cage. A few seconds later, the emergency batteries for internal lighting and communications kick on. When the lights come back on, Martin has vanished. He's ditched the stage. And it caused a huge panic in the theatre, as passengers are trying to flee to their cabins and to muster stations. People already in their cabins come out and start putting on life vests. Staff rally and try to calm everyone down. Everything
Damn.
is fine. There's no need for vests. Please return to your cabins.
That's
The emergency
crazy.
generator starts. All of the watertight doors close except for door 12. which is jammed.
No!
The captain calls Pilon, the chief
Stupid Dark
engineer,
12.
as the ship begins to list on the port side.
Oh,
There's water
shit.
coming in? Yes, there's water. But where? The engine room. But a lot of water? Yes!
Yeah!
There's water, you can't go down. Let's go down
Damn.
the other side. In a moment we'll start the pumps, I'll let you know. In the theater, the whole magic box apparatus slides.
You can't touch it swim away from a sinking ship because the sinking of it can suck you under. Yeah, that makes sense because like it goes down and then the water around it just.
right off the stage and falls into the crowd, further increasing panic. On the bridge, an announcement is being prepared. They are going to lie to prevent a panic. Let's just say we have a blackout. The deputy chief engineer enters the engine control room. He confirms to the bridge that at least compartments 5, 6, and 7 are flooded. Announcements are made.
On behalf of the captain, to inform you that due to an electrical fault, which is currently under control, we're currently in a blackout. Our technicians are working to resolve the situation.
That's
I will
crazy.
inform you of developments as they occur. Thank you for your attention.
Coincidentally, at the same time in the restaurant, they're playing My Heart Will Go On, and it's very much not helping the
That's fucked up.
situation. The captain calls the Costa Crisis Unit, Roberto Ferrarini. He tells the crisis unit that they've hit a rock, that they're assessing damages, and that they are also in a blackout. The crisis office says to reverse the ship up onto shore. Well, how are you going to do that? You don't have power to the rudder, let alone the engine. You know, hoist the sails? Anyway, around this time, the
Oh,
wind
man.
direction creates a starboard list, and the ship begins to turn anyway, drifting right back towards the shore, which is a very good thing because you want the ship to end up as close to shore as possible.
I
A
guess.
panicked passenger senses that something is off. This isn't like any electrical problem that she's ever seen. Plus, there was a massive crashing noise, and now
Yeah.
the ship is tilting.
Oh,
So,
man.
she contacts her daughter in Italy. The daughter then calls the police, and the police call the harbour master. While that goes on, a conversation between Pilon
This
and
would be
Ambrose.
so stressful. I just can't imagine being in this situation, bro.
The diesel is not starting. The captain
Oh,
asks
that's
the
super
engine
nice.
room, but where have we made contact? Thinking that the incoming water can be reduced. Captain, here everything is lost. The electrical panel, everything. They're saying at this point that the ship is going
Don't
down.
they have like emergency
The captain
boats?
calls Roberto Ferrarini again. Actually, 2 compartments have been flooded, but don't worry, the ship's stability isn't in danger. Wrong. Passengers begin going to muster stations on their own initiative. The cruise director says, "We have a lot of people at muster stations that I do not want to fall overboard. Do we make an announcement to tell them to go to the lounges?" Bozio says, "I think that's best." The harbour master from Livorno calls the ship. The captain tells them that we just have a blackout. How long has this blackout been going on? About 20 minutes.
Dude, the lying to save face, dude, bro.
Have you asked passengers to put on life vests? It's just a blackout. I gotta go. The harbour master is suspicious. He says to his superiors that he
Sus.
thinks something more is going on.
Ejected
He calls a patrol
imposter.
boat to the area and asks them to look at the ship. Another problem. The fan on the emergency diesel generator isn't working properly. Pilon manually has to turn the thing on and off with a screwdriver so that it doesn't overheat and cause a fire. The captain is on the phone to the lower decks, asking pointless questions like, "Is it still flooded?" Yes. Yes, it is. The captain is essentially in denial of the situation. The harbour master calls again. Finally, he says, "The ship is taking on water through an opening in the left side and the ship is listing." He qualifies with, "No one dead or injured." The harbour master asks if he needs help. "Just a tugboat?" When in reality, they need a full rescue.
That's
With 3
crazy.
compartments flooded, the captain
That's
finally
crazy,
realizes
bro. Ego's so big, you gotta let people die.
that things are really bad, and they are not going to improve. The Coast Guard orders every available ship to the sea. Meanwhile, up with the passengers, the cruise director's assistant says, "Everything's under control. Please return to your cabins or hang about in the lounges, no problem." She said this despite knowing it was wrong and that it further endangered lives.
Dude.
Most passengers at this point, though, aren't listening to this nonsense, and they're busy figuring out how to abandon ship. Bang, 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 bang. Local television has already picked up the story, and they begin broadcasting live radio feed from the bridge. Captain,
They
the
can
passengers
see
are
it
going on
just
board the boats.
tilted.
Okay, let them go to shore. So then general emergency? Wait, let me talk to Ferrarini. We risk the emergency generators that do not have cooling. It has cooling problems, 100 degrees. The cooling fan has stopped. Pelon calls the bridge and tells the safety officer they need to evacuate. The safety officer relays this to the captain, but after no response, he orders the engine room to evacuate on his own. The captain says, "No, stay. We're leaving." So what do? General emergency?
Dude.
The captain tells Ferrarini that he's abandoning ship. Abandoned ship. Another announcement is made.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. The situation is under control. Please remain calm. But at this time, proceed to your muster station. They're located outside on deck 4.
The Livorno Coast Guard calls again. The captain declares distress. The Coast Guard officially calls for rescue operations. They contact Pietro Mille, the helicopter base commander, who then calls in every available
Dude,
pilot.
there is so many ways to prevent this. Holy shit. So preventable, man. God damn. Yo, Virus, thank you for the sub. Thank you. Welcome.
As he rushes down to the helicopter base, Pelon shuts down the emergency generator for the final time. The first rescue vessel arrives. By this point, the lifeboats are already going. Luckily, the ship is very close to shore.
Yeah, at least it's
Perhaps
just
too
right
close
there.
to shore. The ship forcefully runs aground, creating an uneven center of gravity, and it begins heavily listing starboard.
Oh,
The
man.
captain issues a general emergency on board. The announcement to abandon ship is finally called and alarms ring out, and with that comes panic. And now
And
that
of
they're
course.
listing, with many of the lifeboats
Could
too
have done it
awkward-
like slowly when there was still time, but no.
positioned to enter the water, there aren't enough readily available, and they have to start going back and forth to the shore, picking people up and dropping them off.
Yeah, at
The
least it's a
patrol boats
close
report
drive.
to the Livorno harbour master that the ship has run aground and is listing heavily. So the harbour master asks the captain about it, and the captain says, no, the ship is still floating. In fact,
Bro.
we're trying to maneuver it onto the shore. They know he's lying. Hold on, I'm reversing it. Beep, 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 beep. The captain then says to bottom out the starboard anchor. So they drop out the anchors, but let out too much chain, effectively rendering them useless.
And bro,
The deputy mayor of
everything is
Giglio,
wrong.
Mario Pellegrini, and tobacco shop owner Giovanni Rossi arrive at the harbour. They watch the scene unfold. As the first of the lifeboats arrive on shore, the deputy mayor takes the initiative and races to board one of the lifeboats, returning to the ship, and starts trying to find someone in charge. He gives up and starts helping passengers. Schettino tells everyone to leave and take radios, but not before changing out of his uniform and into a nice suit.
What?
Priorities.
Fucking
Dimitri
Schettino.
Kostidis and Silvia Coronica leave with him. The maitre d' and Cemortan both get out of there. By this point, approximately 300
God, it's
people are
sideways.
still on the ship. Mille reaches the helicopter base. The first helicopter, a slow-moving Augusta Bell, was already rising from the tarmac for the hour-long flight south. Bozio is the last crew member left on the bridge, coordinating evacuation. He then leaves to help passengers board lifeboats.
Hero.
The bridge is now abandoned. And then, the ship's black box stops working. Apparently there were technical problems with it. That means, from here, things are going to get a little foggy in detail. A while later, rescue helicopters arrive, but they're struggling to find the ship because they're expecting it to still be well above water. Passengers are scaling down the port side by ladder as lifeboats return to pick them up.
This is no joke. Oh
Holy
my
shit, there's so many lifeboats.
It was no joke, mi amor. Yes.
You're not allowed to make a film
I'm
movie.
allowed.
Who say you are?
A second helicopter,
Damn.
a faster model,
Who say you're
sets
allowed?
off. The ship stops
Can't.
healing and comes to a final resting place.
At
Now
least
the
it's
Coast Guard calls the
stationary
captain
now.
because he's just learned that the captain has abandoned ship. The captain claims, no, actually I slipped and I fell into
That's crazy that he changed his clothes so people wouldn't know he's the captain.
one of the lifeboats. Ooh, I'm a klutz. But now that I'm on board, I may as well head back to shore. DeFalco tells the captain to get the fuck back on board. And the captain kind of acts confused and then effectively refuses. So the captain makes it to shore. From here, we only have mainstream news reports to rely on, so it's not going to be
Aw,
super
man.
accurate. But they say that Giglio's police chief then finds 110 survivors on the rocks at Point Gabbianara. And among them is the captain. It's not known whether the captain helped anyone while he was there, and in fact, the police chief claimed that he just sat on the rocks and watched other people do the rescuing. A while later, a rescue boat picks up the captain and takes him to the harbour. He speaks to the police. He then finds the ship's onboard chaplain, Father Rafael Molina, and cries to him for about 15 minutes. Then he goes to the harbour master's office to receive probably the biggest dressing down of his entire life. Port authorities ask the taxi driver to take the captain back to his hotel. The captain takes the 30-second cab ride to the Bahamas hotel. According to the cabbie, he was beaten like a dog. He was cold and afraid. He only asked me where he could buy a pair of fresh socks. But then he perked right up again and gave an interview to a news crew. He told them that he was the last to leave.
Wow!
The captain is usually the last to abandon ship. What happened, Captain?
We were the last to leave the ship.
All day Saturday, rescuers search for people on the ship. On Sunday morning, a South Korean couple is found in their cabin, safe but shivering. They had slept through the crash and woke up unable to exit their cabin. The last survivor, Manrico Giampandroni, was found with a broken leg. He was the cabin's service director. In the end, 32 people died. The final body wasn't discovered until nearly 3 years later. A crew member, Russell Rebello, and it's believed that he died a hero helping passengers off the ship. The Costa Concordia was the largest cruise ship disaster since the Titanic. And then there's the ship. This is what happens to
oh my god, it's still there. Dude, for the longest time I didn't think the Titanic was real.
110,000-ton cruise liner when it's left half rolled over in the ocean.
Did you bet yourself paranormal investigators are going to visit this? That's cool though. Did they tip it over, like if they waited straight?
But this isn't the end. It's just the halfway point. What most people know is that the Costa Concordia had crashed, many dead, and that the captain abandoned ship like a coward. But there's a whole veritable spaghetti of details to untangle. Let's dive in.
No,
There they are.
ew.
The deets.
No. I don't like that at all. Ow. Looting. Oh god. I mean, premium, dude. There was all rich people there.
The Costa Concordia was more than just a floating resort. There's a mall, a casino, cha-ching, cha-ching. This iron chest was full of safes and cash registers.
And also really
expensive
close to
fittings.
shore.
And there were plenty of gamers prepared to sneak by authorities and try their luck in the hot zone.
That's
Within
fun though. You see, I think this is fun. I think if someone's willing to go diving and stuff to loot, you should have allowed them. You know, like at that point, it belongs to the ocean, and if someone wants to have the fun of going through it, it should be legal.
Police divers reported that valuable items, once seen lying around the ship, were now missing. High-end liquor, expensive
That's stealing? Yeah, but it belongs to the ocean, man. It doesn't belong to the people anymore. It belongs to the ocean. You can't steal from the ocean.
furniture, dining sets, cash from the casino, cash registers, jewelry and display cabinets.
Wait, but how does this work? Oh, wait. Thank God this is in Europe where we have plastic money. Because if this was America, all the money would be wet paper.
Safes, Japanese woodblock prints by famous 18th century artists, as well as the iconic bell, which hung from the bridge of the ship. It was never found. Who
Someone
steals
just
a
has
big
it.
fuck off bell? Even the server admins were getting involved. 4 divers who were part of the company contracted to refloat the Concordia were spotted on CCTV, sneaking out to the ship. A patrol boat was dispatched, and the men were caught inside the fancy suites with rucksacks full of stolen goods. The 4 men are charged with stealing and thieving and pinching. Later on, stolen as well as legitimate items found their way to Amazon and eBay. Chips from the casino, postcards, and cabin access cards became highly sought after souvenirs.
It even has a watermark.
Some Australian guy even made a listing for the ship itself.
Again, I feel like
advertising
you
it
have the balls to go to there to loot it, you know? Maybe you deserve it.
as buyer to collect.
It's illegal, baby. Okay, only because the law says it's wrong doesn't mean it is wrong. Okay, there, you know?
And although there were plenty of bidders, eBay pulled the plug.
Aww.
I know you want to see Schettino go to jail, and we'll get to that.
Yes,
but
I
first,
do.
we have to talk about someone else. Dominika Cemortan.
Romanian girl, Moldovan girl.
There was speculation that she was on the bridge that evening because she was the captain's mistress.
Intense media speculation reports that her presence distracted the captain.
They both denied their love for years and maintained that they were just friends. Although she did later admit to the media that she found him handsome. And how could you not?
You so fucking precious when you smile.
But she says there was no romantic link between them.
Some people would like to believe, they want to know I have something with him. It's more interesting. It's like, you know, some spicy in the story.
Miss Cemortan also loved the spotlight, however.
Everyone, oh look!
And took several interviews. But as the pressure mounted upon her, she began making ominous threats to Schettino, saying he must confess, and that you have but 1 week to come clean. But things from here get weird.
Spicy.
Cemortan is a bit of a wild card. In a subsequent interview, she claimed a helicopter came to the ship well before the other rescue craft to take away a package. Huh? And what was that package? Drugs, apparently. So rumors began that the ship was running narcotics for the mafia. And not without cause. A number of cruise ships, even recently, have been caught trafficking drugs. As an aside, Schettino was tested for drugs immediately after the crash.
Not
He
surprised.
tested negative for drugs in his system, but trace amounts of cocaine were found in a hair sample.
Makes it smoother and less dry.
How did the
Nonetheless,
ship
the
sink?
Concordia-
Ship sink? Rock.
It was searched and no drugs were reportedly ever found.
Rock.
How did we get here? Oh, right, a helicopter. Cemortan commented on it again the next day and said, actually, that helicopter was just for the captain as a means of evacuation from the ship. Okay, wait. So she expected to get some sort of first-class rescue while everyone else was still stuck on the ship?
You betcha.
Wait, how did we get here? Oh, right, sex with the captain. Divers were quick to head to the captain's cabin where they found Miss Cemortan's lingerie and other articles of clothing as well as a makeup bag. The jig was up, but they continued denying it. Cemortan mostly faded from international attention until she was told to appear before the court to present witness testimony. The judge pressed her to be truthful about their relationship, or she would be held in contempt.
Either tell me the truth or shut up.
So finally, she admitted it.
Yes, I had a sentimental relationship with the captain.
Stop.
But now, stop asking about my private life.
She was indeed the captain's lover.
We all knew it.
What is up, Trouble Alert
Aw,
Nation?
fucking
Schettino
Keemstar.
cheated on his wife with Cemortan. Oh my god!
She and
For a
Schettino
second, I
had
thought
been
it was a
having an
real
affair
one.
for several weeks. She also said that on the night she boarded, she didn't have a ticket.
Ticket, please.
And didn't need to pay because nobody questions you when you're the captain's lover. Naturally, she gave another confusing interview after leaving court.
I want to say that today is the second time I die because the first time I died in the night of the crash with my psychological brain and problems. And today I died the second time because, of course, people find out something that I try to hide.
Subsequent to the trial, she used her fame in Moldova to become a political activist,
I called this at the beginning. Man.
often appearing on television and radio and in articles covering protests, accompanied by pictures of her being arrested by police.
They're speaking Romanian. It's just that they have a very strong Moldovan accent, so it's a bit hard to understand. Oh my gosh, she's crashing out.
There's some stuff about victims of violence, women's rights,
Girl power.
yada yada yada. And interestingly, part of a push to block the sale of shares of Moldova's train network to Russia.
Sure.
Other than that, I don't really know what she's been up to. Let me just check on her Oh god, not again.
No! Take her out from near a ship. Giglio? Who's Giglio?
Several civil suits were quickly lodged against Costa Crociere, and their parent company, Carnival Cruises, immediately saw a share drop of 23%.
Don't beat.
Passengers sought compensation for their damaged mental health, lost belongings, and loved ones.
Either they allowed him to divert from his course, or they didn't know where their billion-dollar ship was.
Within a few days, facing financial and media pressure, the CEO attempted to join the bandwagon against the captain and the crew.
That was not the ordinary route that the ship was taking at the time, and was not only taking, but the time the ship was...
Claiming that the ship was not approved to deviate from the route. But that wasn't true. Approval isn't required if the ship is deviating by less than 15 miles, or that it was against company rules. Also untrue, because investigators found that they didn't have any rules about deviating route, and they tacitly encouraged sail by salutes. Now, in response to the civil suits, Costa Crociere offered passengers 11,000 euros each as compensation.
Ooh.
That's kind of small.
11,000 euros, about $14,000, is the minimum compensation under international law when a ship is abandoned.
This was to reimburse them for their tickets, as well as...
Okay, never mind, they're hella rich then, because I see 11,000, I'm like, oh my god, that's huge. But turns out it's small?
Costs they accrued in having to unexpectedly travel home early.
And that was supposed to release them from everything and anything that has to do with this accident. I cannot ask for more than this.
A lot of passengers, understandably, were not too happy with this deal, and they refused to take the money.
We think the offer is...
I don't know, to me, like, I don't know, the tickets is like $50, and my belongings are like 100 max. So to me, it'll be like, oh damn, you're paying for the trauma, I guess, which I would value at like $2 maybe. So damn. Almost in your life, yeah. $2.
Insult for what these poor passengers went through. We think that...
I do agree that the ones whose family die, they should give them more. Okay, if your family die, you should get twice. Like you should get the share for the dead person as well. So if you have a mother that died, you get 20,000, 22,000. Okay, and if you have two, you get 33,000. Gotta go for the jugular mega corporations. I agree with that.
The compensation being offered is not commensurate.
Here, take it.
Compensation being offered is not...
I think I just don't have a... I don't have a concept of ever owning that much money or spending it for something like this. So I can't grasp the concept of the... So yeah, we travel back on unscheduled flights. I mean, a flight is like $500 max.
Later, Costa Crociere would lodge a plea deal with the Tuscan court to pay a €1 million fine to avoid a criminal trial. The judge agrees. Costa Crociere is now off the hook for all criminal liability for the whole thing. They've washed their hands of the incident and flecked the residual droplets of responsibility onto the faces of 6 staff members. Passengers and relatives of the dead are livid that the company has been able to avoid criminal responsibility.
Offered is not commensurate.
Civil suits against the company continue. By the way,
if I dropped 11K, I wouldn't even pick it back up. Unsubscribed chatter, by the way. I never, and I mean never ever, call out people for not being subs, but if you say the sentence, if I dropped 11K, I would even pick it back up, you gotta pay those $5 a month. I'm sorry, that is absurd. That is like insane. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Holy, yeah, drop it on, yeah. No, I'll pick it up, man. I'll pick it up. That's crazy. Holy shit.
Residents of the island of Giglio also banded together and sought damages. They didn't get much.
Shout out Mr. Rich in chat. Holy shit. Holy.
Who refused the initial compensation of 11,000 joined civil parties against Schettino in his trial in 2015.
God, see you
They
here.
were awarded 30,000 euros each. Other cases, especially those involving lost relatives, are settled for undisclosed amounts.
That's me. I did that with the balcony door once. Trippy, they were the 5-star. Trippy, you don't have to do that. You're not the Omega billionaire CEO. Thanks for the 5-star, Trippy. Thank you. Pog just dropped 5 subs. Wouldn't even pick them back up, man. That's crazy. Thank you so much.
New York attorney Peter Renee travelled to Budapest to represent 6 real survivors of the disaster.
At Renee, we personally work on every case.
And we'll work harder than anyone to get you the most money possible in the shortest amount of time.
And while on the job, a 7th case cropped up.
Oh, you're watching fucking ass.
An elderly woman, Alona, said,
"Help me, Mr. Ronai, for I have lost my daughter, Eva, and my 5-year-old granddaughter, Roxana."
So Mr. Renai agreed to speak with her. However, there were some inconsistencies in her story. Neither Eva nor Roxana were on the passenger list. Odd. Bert Costa is known for having stowaways.
Gotcha, bitch!
Still, Mr. Renai was suspicious. They wouldn't cheaty old Petey, would they? Renai inquired further about why she was on board, especially without a ticket. Ilona said,
"Well, I don't know, but you should ask her boyfriend.
Zolt Horvath.
He'll know all the details."
She would be a Jolt Horvath, wouldn't he?
But Mr. Renai was still suspicious. Because then she asked, "How much money do you think this is worth?"
11K.
This is a huge red flag, Petey. In 20 years of doing this, you've never had anyone ask about money. Why now? So Mr. Renai hired an investigator and sent photos around of the missing girl. The next day, the phone rang. Ahoy hoy, it was the boyfriend again. Look, there's been a bit of a misunderstanding and the child isn't missing at all.
What?
And then he claimed he was confused because he had done too many drugs the night before. Oh, okay, can I speak to the daughter then? At first, he was refused. So Renai said that he'd have to file a missing persons report to the police if he couldn't. The boyfriend relented. That night, Renai met with Zolt and brought the police with him. He speaks to the granddaughter and asks her if she's seen Mum. "Yeah, I saw her today." "Oh, really?" "Yeah, we went to the park today and we went on the swings." Oh no, the jig was up. So the mum walks into the room sheepishly. "It's a miracle." And the story changed again. "Okay, I'm not dead, but I did injure my leg when I jumped from the ship. And then I immediately flew back to Budapest."
That's crazy.
Although don't worry about checking my leg because
That's
there are no
crazy.
visible marks or injuries. Oh, Petey, I'm beginning to think they weren't even on the boat. Also, it turns out this lady isn't her mum, it's just a neighbor. Eventually, Renee managed to make the pair confess. And then they said, "Hey, we haven't done anything wrong. We haven't taken any money." And in the end, it looks like there'll be no criminal punishment for the scam, because Hungary, a former communist country, has no laws against insurance fraud on the books.
W Hungary.
1-800-6647.
Oh, that's a bad idea. Oh, that's a very bad idea.
The Concordia just keeps dying. Vada a bordo.
Would you teach me some Italian?
Oh, of course.
Means get back on board for fuck's sake.
Okay, thanks.
Vada a bordo, cazzo.
Gregorio de Falco, the naval officer who shouted at Schettino to "Vada a bordo caso," became a bit of a
That's so
national hero
iconic, though. That's so iconic. Vada a bordo, cazzo.
for night in Italy. He, like the rest of the world, expected Schettino to go down with the ship.
Yo.
And when the captain chickened out, De Falco was there to admonish him. And when he stopped answering the radio, he called him on his cell phone to continue putting him on blast. When the captain first reported just a blackout, De Falco didn't believe the story and immediately began preparing a rescue effort, which likely saved several lives.
Cinema.
His actions were applauded by most Italians who were tired of their public servants being corrupt and avoiding responsibility. Accordingly, shirts sporting Vada Caso were being printed by the end of the week.
It is iconic.
Others setting it as their phone's ringtone. But then, in September 2014, without warning, De Falco was transferred to an admin role in the Coast Guard.
Hear what I said? You've been demoted.
De Falco said that he had been passed up for promotion, that he had also not been told which admin...
never meet your heroes. Oh no, please, just don't say it's anything to do with underage girls. Anything but that, bro.
Office he was even being transferred to, and that it all effectively cancelled 10 years of his career. De Falco was tres furioso, and there was public speculation that it was owing to bad blood between himself and Admiral Delano, his former boss. His status among the public overshadowed his superior in many ways. On the other hand, his boss said, no, it's part of a normal career progression for naval officers and that he must show more maturity and professionalism to advance his career. Now, it's hard to know what's true in office politics, so let's leave that alone. And anyway, in 2018, De Falco said buenas noches, ya later, to the Italian Navy to become a politician. In March that year, he was elected to the Italian Senate, serving as a member for Livorno.
Okay.
He still serves there today.
I'm the captain now.
Okay. Okay, he didn't do any fucked up shit. Let's go. W mans.
The day after the disaster, Schettino was taken into custody by police and underwent questioning. However, it was clear that this would not be a straightforward investigation. So the judge released him under house arrest at his home in Sorrento, a town in Napoli. By July of that year, the house arrest was relaxed and he was allowed within this general area. While under house arrest, he wrote a book with this journalist from Rai magazine. I have no idea what it says, I don't speak Italian. But goddammit, he must have some kind of charisma going on, because there's been a lot of speculation in the press that he had an affair with her as well.
No, he has the Italian riz.
Hold on, I got it. Not content with abandoning his ship, this dude is determined to abandon his wife as well. So, Schettino and 5 others are facing criminal charges. Straight away, everyone lodges a plea bargain with the court. And all of those
What about a bilingual guy, the guy that didn't understand directions?
bargains are accepted, except for Schettino's. And the condition of everyone's reduced sentences are that they must provide witness testimony against Schettino.
Whoa.
He touched me.
Literally throwing him under the
Were all
ship.
given suspended sentences. Roberto and Manrico are able to opt for community service or house arrest. Not a bad deal.
A good deal. Good deal.
And that meant that Schettino was now all on his own. Ciro, the first officer, was the first to give his testimony. On the witness stand, he claimed that Schettino was distracted by his mistress and other guests on the bridge.
She literally had a Romanian bikini, child. She literally had a Romanian flag bikini. I've never done a better call.
That there was confusion over who was in command. Then it was Jacob's turn. And he said, Lamau XD, because he didn't actually bother with his testimony or his reduced sentence. He just fled the country. It took authorities 12 months to eventually track him down on the outskirts of Jakarta. And when they said, oi, we still want that witness testimony, he just scalped again. And he hasn't been found since.
Let him go, man.
Ferrarini gave his
He
testimony.
made a mistake by him going on a ship, but like it's their fault for hiring him at the end of the day.
Look, we don't have time to relitigate the whole trial, so let's just go straight to the verdict. Guilty! Schettino was found guilty of multiple manslaughter, causing a shipwreck, abandoning ship, and lying to authorities. He is sentenced to 16 years and 1 month in prison. But wait, there's still the appeals. The appeals trial begins. And the verdict on the appeal? Surprise! Rejected! So Schettino's lawyers appealed again. And the verdict on the final appeal?
Schettino made multiple attempts to secure a plea deal, but was denied by the prosecution each time. The prosecution called for Schettino to be sentenced to 26
the fact that he
years in
literally
prison,
changed
calling the
into a
incident
suit to abandon ship is everything you need to know.
Schettino was not present. His lawyer stated that he was waiting outside of the jail for the ruling, so that if his plea was rejected, he could immediately start serving his sentence. And with that, 5 years and 4 months after the disaster, he was finally in a cell.
The whole legal proceeding took 5 years.
Making any comment.
Is this an anime opening?
The Salvage operation was enormous. It took over 2 years and cost an estimated $1.2 billion. Beginning in early 2012, they first spent 2 months pumping fuel from the ship's tanks. At the same time, they had to pump seawater in so that the balance wasn't affected and the ship didn't slide around. In early 2013, a platform was built under the ship to prevent it from falling further. Sponsons were then attached to the sides of the ship and cables attached to the underwater platform. The sponsons were then dragged underwater and opened up to allow the ocean to fill them. The ship could then roll over properly. By late 2013, the ship was upright once more. The sponsons were then attached to the side of the ship to help keep it balanced. It now rested partially above water and crews could walk around safely. By July 2014, the water was removed from the sponsons and compressed air was pumped in to lift the ship. And she was ready to cruise again. This time to a port in Genoa. It was a 4-day towing journey to the docks where a 2-year process of dismantling and recycling would begin. That same weekend of the towing, Schettino was busy.
But isn't this is nice. Like, the human ingenuity and like things people come up with just to take the ship out of the water, bring it back up to just recycle it after. This makes me human-pilled.
He was the guest of honor at a white party on an island in the Bay of Naples. He appeared on the front page of a local newspaper, flanked by 2 of Italy's most eligible bachelorettes.
With another 2 ladies. Holy, everyone wants them. They want them.
Anyway, so these are the things that I remember from the Costa Concordia.
Wow.
That's sweet,
Grandpa, that's crazy,
maiden
Grandpa.
of the sea. And as for you, little fella.
Thanks.
Well, it's time to return you.
No.
From whence you came.
I thought he was talking to me. No.
6 quick things. 1. NordVPN, good product, check them out. Number 2, there's a new video on the second channel. You probably didn't see it because it was temporarily restricted. Now it's not. Enjoy. 3, if you've never seen the second channel before, give it a go. It's a different type of content, but we put a lot of production into it. It's not just offcuts. 4, there are a couple of secret channels as well, but I ain't telling you where they are. 5, no more 45-minute videos on the main channel.
Epic, near, far, wherever you are, my heart, something, go on.